IRA. He's got a contract. He's the guy who's trying to get back the $500 million in stolen paintings from the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston. And he's got a contract for a new book out about art forgeries, which is a very up-and-coming crime. And he'll be speaking as well on the Isabella Stewart Gardner robbery and on other robberies, and again this new phenomenon of art, or the increasing phenomenon of art forgeries. It should be a good time.
Yeah. So Howie, to be completely off topic, what do we need to do to make you the permanent regular fill-in on the Mark Levin show? You've been filling in for Mark Levin occasionally. Is there something we can do to inundate them with requests that you be the only replacement for him?
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Chris.
You're
you
welcome.
know how to get on the right side of me. I appreciate that. Yeah, just send them. Everybody send them emails. Right now, I'm calling you from the Fox 25 TV studios in Dedham, Massachusetts.
Yeah,
I'm filling in for
VB this week, right?
VB.
Yeah,
exactly. So, but I love being on the Mark Levin show. I mean, he's one of my favorites, and it's easy to run it. When you have the same sort of style, I don't yell as much as Mark, I guess, but I basically feel like I have the same style and the same beliefs as Mark, and it makes it easier to run a show to fill in. And it's always great fun. I can't believe you're on 300, 400 stations,
and crazy,
including some of the stations you listened to as a kid. Like WABC in New York. It's really a great experience.
How we got some text messages.
Thanks for saying that, Chris.
You're welcome.
Some text messages coming into us. 601-207-GHRT, 601-207-4478. I have questions for Howie Carr. Loved the Night of Crime in Bangor. Can you tell us more about how the Night of Crime in Augusta is going to be different?
Yeah, it's going to be different because the trial took place, and there was a lot of new information that came out at the trial. I'll just give you one story, just to give you an example. During the sentencing, they let all the survivors of the victims tell how Whitey had affected them. And one of the guys that he killed, it was actually one of two brothers-in-law of his girlfriend, Catherine Gregg, who's now doing her own time. But that's another story. But they grabbed this guy November 1974, and they killed him and they buried him on Tinian Beach in Dorchester. So he disappeared. No one knew whether he was dead or not. So a month later, it's Christmas, and the guy's been missing for a month. And in the house of this guy, Paul McGonigal, the phone rings, and his 11-year-old son picks up the phone. Hello, kid. Your father's not coming home for Christmas.
Ooh.
Who is this? Santa Claus.
Are you serious?
That's the story the kid repeated at the sentencing. And then a few years later, he was walking down the street, and Whitey pulled up beside him in his car and rolled down the window and said, "Hey, McGonigal, I haven't decided whether I'm going to use you for target practice or not."
Wow, that's just some of the stuff you're going to hear in the new Night of Crime at the Augusta Civic Center.
The new Night of Crime, because there was an extremely large amount of new information that came out at the trial. Plus, we had great pictures before, but we have we got even more pictures from the exhibits that were introduced as evidence during the trial. So it's going to be I think it's going to be it'll be a better show, and it'll be basically a new show.
The 2014 edition of the Night of Crime, Howie Carr coming to the Augusta Civic Center on Friday night, May 2nd at 8 o'clock. Grab your tickets right now at HowieCarrShow.com. HowieCarrShow.com.
Howie, what is your future? Right. Obviously, there are many of us listening to this show this morning that are also big fans of yours. And there are people like me that have listened to you faithfully since literally the 1990s. So, what is your future at your current station? Can you share with us? Obviously, there's been some turmoil in the past with them. What's going to happen, or what's it look like at this point?
I don't really know, Chris, what the situation is. I'm still under contract to them until November, but I'm looking around, obviously. But the fact is, though, that whatever happens, I'm still going to try to keep my my syndication together. And so I don't think there's any question that I'm going to be on WBOM and all my other stations after November, no matter where I am in Boston. I just I need to. I'm at a real disadvantage in Boston, being on a very weak AM signal. It makes it impossible to compete. Basically, is what it comes down to. And I need to get some sort of resolution to that issue. That's the problem. That's why I tried to get to the FM stations now 7 years ago, believe it or not. And I still have to do that. And now the FM talk station, they didn't get me, so they've gone out of business. So they've switched formats. So I've got to find a place to go where I can pick up in Boston. That's my only question. But again, it doesn't affect anybody outside of Boston because I will definitely be on the air with my syndicated stations. I love my syndicated stations. I love being in Maine. You know, I'm a native of Maine, and I love New Hampshire. You know, my father used to work in New Hampshire. I have connections to all the New England states, and I want to keep those connections strong.
Howie, other text messages coming into us, and I wondered this as well. Sandy going to be coming up here on May 2nd with you to the Augusta Civic Center? Okay.
Yes, Sandy will be introducing Anthony and I. Yes.
Okay.
She will be there.
From Augusta. Just wanted to let Howie know my 8-year-old daughter loves to listen to Howie. She thinks he is funny. See, you got some good demographics going for you. You got the young kids as well.
Great.
As us old
That's great. That's
guys.
why I need those FM stations there, Rick. You know, I need 8-year-olds are listening on FM. You know, not too many 8-year-olds listening on AM.
Yeah. From Lewiston, ask Howie who America needs in 2016.
I think Ted Cruz. I'm for Ted Cruz. Who are you for, Rick?
Gee, I've been looking at Cruz. I want to see him do it. I think, what the hell are you talking about?
I'm just saying.
Let me flip the question. Since you said Hillary Clinton, at this point, what does it matter? Are those words going to cost her the nomination? Are those words going to cost her the presidency, Howie?
I don't think those words are going to cost her. Maybe, I mean, Benghazi seems to be a real albatross around her neck, but I wonder, you know, if there's anything to these rumors that she's sick. I mean, she doesn't exactly look real healthy when you see her on TV. You know, I wonder if she really wants to go through it again. I mean, she's going to be like, what, 68, 69? I mean, you know, I know that's Reagan was that age when he was elected, but he seemed to be a little more dynamic than she is. She's right on the edge of elderly. She's going to be on the edge of really elderly. I don't know. I'm not convinced that she's going to run.
And I like Ted Cruz too, but I wonder.
Are you guys?
I think she is. I think.
Of course she is.
I think there is. And I'm just going to say this is just an opinion. I hope my wife isn't listening because she sleeps on the far, far left side of the bed. I think her ego will not let her not run.
Mm-hmm.
And now, as for Ted Cruz, yes, big in Texas. But can he be big enough outside of Texas?
I don't know. He seems to draw big crowds wherever he goes in New Hampshire or Oklahoma. Yeah. But, you know, I don't know if you saw the poll we did in New Hampshire yesterday for the Herald. Mm-hmm. He came in, I don't know, about like 6th place. I couldn't believe the people. John Huntsman, believe it or not, was ahead of him among Republicans in New Hampshire. I was amazed.
That's not a good sign.
The two guys that were leading the poll were Rand Paul, that's kind of to be expected, especially since, you know, his father cornered the weed vote up there many years ago, and then Chris Christie, who seems to be recovering from the bridge fiasco. They were the two top contenders. But Huntsman was ahead of him, and Jeb Bush, another thing that really surprised me. I don't know anybody. Do you know anybody who's for George Bush? Jeb Bush, I mean,
his mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Family,
his mom.
maybe.
His mother.
Maybe his son, who just won the primary for agriculture commissioner down in Texas on Tuesday. But you know, that was a very strange poll, I think, in terms of who was at the top of the Republican list.
Even the start of the I'm sorry, Chris.
No, go.
Even the start of the year when Cruz went to speak in Iowa, just, you know, to dip his foot in the water, the standing ovations weren't as long as he would enjoy in Texas, and it led people to say, "You got a ways to go, Mr. Cruz."
Yeah, he. Some people are saying too, that the old line from Shakespeare, Jan Brutus has a lean and hungry look. He does seem to be extremely ambitious. He doesn't hide it all that well. His great ambition, but I just agree with him philosophically. And Rand Paul is okay, but he's been kind of like all over the lot on immigration for one thing, and that kind of bothers me a little bit. I want somebody who's red meat down the line. I don't want anybody pussyfooting around this year.
Howie Carr, the next Night of Crime. We're going to call it the 2014 edition of Night of Crime at the Augusta Civic Center on Friday, May 2nd. Tickets right now at HowieCarrShow.com. Howie, we'll talk to you again soon. We're looking forward. We're making plans for Augusta right now. Okay.
Right, we sold out in Bangor last time, so get your tickets early, and we'll have a great time. It'll be a different show, and you'll really I think you'll really enjoy it.
All right.
Thanks a lot for having me, guys.
Thank you, Howie.
Okay. Back in a flash with sports and more. GHRT.